Hey everyone, and welcome to my Monday Live. And today we are going to be looking at Facebook group solutions. And this is because I've been having lots of questions asked me on my YouTube channel on a previous video that I did about some of the issues some of you were having on Facebook and using groups, especially since they've changed over a few things. So I'm just going to wait for a few of you to join me, but today I have planned the following. So I'm just going to get my little notepad. So we're going to be looking at why you can't see the Facebook group announcements, also why you can't add posts to guides and why this might be an issue. I know some of you are having problems doing that. How or can you remove posts from the feed? Also, how to add a file to your group, and also we're going to look at whether we can still create quizzes inside of Facebook groups. So if you're joining me today, do let me know where you're joining me from. Just drop it in the comments below this video. I am live streaming using Restream to YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, and my Facebook groups. And if you are on any of those, do let me know. If you have a question about Facebook groups and whether you are having any issues with using a Facebook group on your account, whether that be accessing it from the desktop or accessing it from the mobile phone, because before we really get into the nitty-gritty of it all, the Facebook groups, the way they work differs depending on whether you are actually using them on your mobile phone and whether you are using them on the desktop. So some of the functionality that you get on the desktop isn't available on the mobile phone. So that's what we're going to be looking at today. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Anita Wong and I'm a digital visibility strategist, and I specialize in Facebook, Instagram and video marketing. And if you want to find out a little bit more about me, then do go and hit the profile picture of me wherever you're watching this video and check out my accounts there. I do have several free accesses that you can have a go at, including an Instagram and Facebook for Success program. You can go ahead and have a little free go in there and set up your Instagram for Success. That's something that I'm giving away free at the moment. Okay, so let's jump in and I'll share my screen with you. And we're going to look at one of my Facebook groups that I use as a sample inside of my desktop. And then we're going to move into the mobile phone. So let me just bring my desktop share up. Okay, so I'm going to move myself down here in the bottom right. So I'll be down there at the bottom. I'm just going to take that graphic off so that you can see everything. Let me just take the title off. There we go. And don't forget that if you do have any questions, drop them in the comments as well. Hi, Michelle. Thank you for joining me. You're over on LinkedIn, which is awesome. So do let me know if you have any questions about Facebook groups. Okay, so this is my Facebook group. So if you want to join this, by all means, do feel free to jump into this one. It's it's all around Instagram, Facebook and video marketing. I do have some trainings going on in there regularly, and I do some challenges and things like that. We've just finished off a YouTube challenge and we're all starting to get ready to get our YouTube channels up and running. So if that's something of interest to you, I do have a free training this Friday on that. So do let me know in the comments below whether you want access to that free training. Okay, awesome. So I'm going to jump into my test group at the moment, and I want to just go through with you some of the things that you'll find inside of your group. So just making that little window a bit smaller so that you guys can all see it. Okay, perfect. So what we're going to be looking at in here is actually, let me just get that down there like that. Okay, so this is a Facebook group, and I've just using the test group at the moment, but generally speaking, a Facebook group should have the following along the top. You'll have an about, you'll have a discussion tab, you'll have your members tab, you usually have an events tab and a media tab. Now, a lot of you have been asking me, oh, people can't see the announcements on there when they come to my group, or they can't see any files, like there's no file tab when they come to my group. Now, you have to create an announcement or you have to create a file for your group to actually show these off. So here inside of my active Facebook group, I have an announcement already. So as you can see, if I click on the announcement tab, the announcement comes up here. And usually if you have more than one, it will say here more than one. So if I were to just go back into the discussion, and I go to, let's just make one of my posts let's just make this one an announcement. And I will just refresh my screen. What this will do is it will show up here. So if I click on this, Now what happens is that I have this announcement, which is the most recent post that I've made an announcement, and I have the announcement that I had previously underneath. Now, when you look at it inside of the discussion area, you'll see that it says announcements, unread announcements to see all. And when you click see all, that's when it will open up the announcements. Now, if I don't have any announcements, the announcements tab will disappear. So if I were to remove this one, and I remove this one, and I refresh my page, my announcement tab has disappeared. So if you're not seeing the announcement tab up there at the moment, it may be because you haven't got an announcement pinned to the top of your page. So in order for you to get an announcement, you do need to do something on your page in your group, and you can also do this on your mobile phone. So this can be done both on your mobile phone and on the desktop. So to make a post, an announcement inside of your Facebook group, all you have to do is go to that post, click the three little dots, and click on here where it says mark as announcement. When you click that, that's going to automatically add it to the top of your page as an announcement, and you won't see this announcement tab here until you refresh your group, because obviously the computer, you need to refresh the page of the computer so that it actually gives you the most up-to-date version of what you're looking at. So this is the announcement here, and you will see that inside of on my mobile phone as well. So if you had your mobile phone open, you could check out whether your announcement was visible on there as well by going to your mobile phone, and then I'll go to the group, and I'm just going to stop my share a second, and I'm going to make this big so that you guys can see. And here you can see, if I just bring this in, that there's the announcement button there. And if I click it, it's going to open that up as the announcement. So that's how you get the announcement tab. You don't get the announcement tab if you don't have an announcement. So that's something that a lot of people don't realize that you miss out on if you don't have the announcement there. So that's one of the things that's been causing some of my followers some angst regarding Facebook groups. So that's one of the things. So the second one that I wanted to go through is I can't add posts to guides. It's only a desktop only option. Okay, so let's quickly just run through what a guide is before I reshare my screen with you. So a guide inside of your Facebook group is what is now known or what was known as units. So previously, like just before Christmas, before Facebook made its changes, it used to call the group of posts inside of your Facebook group a unit. And in that unit, you were able to actually work through and set up so that people could answer their questions. They could actually work through, and you could get told how much they'd gone through it, how much they'd completed, and all those sorts of things. What's happened recently is that Facebook has changed that name from units to guides, and it's also changed some of the functionality inside of guides. Number one, you used to be able to schedule a post inside your Facebook group, save it as a scheduled post, and then add it to your units, or what are now called guides. You can't do that anymore. So what's happening now is that you can only create a post, publish it, and then add it to a guide. But you can create a post inside of the guides, but you don't have any control of when that goes out. But we will check that in a second. Okay, so I've got a quick question about announcements. Michelle says, can I reorganize the tab so that the events or announcement follows the about tab? Let's have a little look, because I do believe you can do that, but let's just double check. Okay, so let me just go into here. So here are the tabs, and I have my announcements, and I have my guides, and I have my discussion, and I have my about. And when you click the more option, you have lots of other things inside of here, which we are going to cover in a second. You can't rearrange these. The only change will happen is if one of these disappears, and then it will move these up. So if you don't have any guides, then the announcements will move over and the rooms will come on. If you don't have announcements or guides, then the other things will move over. So it's a little bit like in here, I have an about, a discussion, members, events, and media. That's pretty much the basic setting. Now, if I go into my settings, just so that I completely make sure that that's what's happening, down here, we will have some extras, and I don't believe that we can manage our tabs. No, so not like on the Facebook page where we can actually move our tabs around. We can't manage the tabs inside of here. The only way you can change the tab order is if you remove something from inside of your menu up here. So if you don't have these things active, they won't show up along here. So that's pretty much that at the moment. Okay, so let's go back to the guides area. So as you can see over here in the test group, so this is like if you've got a group and you haven't done anything to it, this is pretty much what it would look like for you as a admin of your group. Now, if you want to have guides in your group, you do need to switch guides on. So if you're not seeing guides and you're not seeing the option to have guides, so I've got a fly flying around in my room, and you're not seeing the option to have guides, you do need to go to the settings. So what we need to do is we need to come down here on the left-hand side where it says admin tools, and we need to go to the settings area at the bottom left. This is going to open up your group settings. And as an admin, you can alter these group settings. So you've got your name and description, you've got your privacy, your group, whether it's hidden or public, and the location. We keep going down. I'm going to jump over this section for now. We want to go to these add extra features. So this is where we can switch on the guides, which is that learning zone, what used to be called the units, and before that used to be called learnings. Here, if we click learn more, it's just going to tell you what they're about. So guides is like a social learning group on Facebook. So it allows you to organize posts into guides and change the order in which they appear. Group members can click I'm done, etc., etc., etc. So let's go back to our group and turn these on. So here we can click add. However, if you go to the group type, you also are able to switch them on by making your group a social learning group. And as you can see, they still haven't updated this because it still says organize posts into a unit or a series of units. So they haven't renamed that yet, but that's pretty much what we want to do. So you can turn it on by clicking social learning. You can also turn it on without changing the group type. So if you don't want to change the group type, then all you need to do is go to guides here and click add. When you click add, it's automatically going to add that tab in where you get your guides. So here it says your group has a guide section. You can now use your guides to highlight important posts you want people to read, help people learn about a specific topic or subject, and organize information into a place that's easy to find. So that's the sort of thing that you would do in your guide. So if you click start a guide, what we would do is we would name a guide. So I'm just going to put test guide here, and you can put a description. You've got 1,000 characters to put your description. So I'm going to put here your description goes, I can't spell, goes here. And then you click save. So now what's happened is that you've created the guide. This is like the base frame for your actual guide. So that's sort of like the base frame. Hi, Tim. It's nice for you to join me today. So that's how you make your first, your guide as such. Now, here it says create post or create quiz. So we're going to go to that one in a second because that's one of the questions that I got asked on my YouTube channel. I'm going to tell you who asked me that because I think it's really important. So Laurie Mackworth, if you're listening, this is going to help you. This is all about how to create the guides, the quizzes inside your guides. And I know that, where is it? I've got quite a few questions from people about using guides and Facebook groups. Oh, here. So Casey said that, he's a bit tired of all the groups the names being changed. And let me see. Oh, so many questions on my YouTube channel about guides. Oh, here you see how can I remove a post from inside my feed as well as the guide? Okay. So we made the foundation of the guide. So this is like the unit, the old style units. And in here, you can create a new post. So I can create a post by clicking on create post, and I can give my post a title. So this is my test post. And then you can write something. So you can write something, you can put a picture, you can put a Giphy, you can put anything you like. So let's just do a test content. Oh, it's a funny bug coming around. Now here, you've still got these 3 little dots. So I always encourage you to click those 3 little dots whenever possible, whenever working in Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, anywhere, because those 3 little dots are like a magic doorway to other features. So if I click that, you can see that I can actually do all of these things inside of my guide, ready for it to be published inside of the guide. So I can add a GIF, I can host a Q&A, I can put a photo, I can do all of these things. Now, sometimes these don't all work because sometimes some of the guide's limitations are there, but let's just stick a GIF up for now. Oh, look, that's a nice, cute little doggy. He's doing a high five. Let's do that. And then you don't, unfortunately, you're not able to schedule this because this is one of the things that's missing from the new guides. Previously, I like saying that previously in episode 101, Facebook used to let you schedule these. But it doesn't let you do it anymore, which is a real pain because if you're using Facebook groups as a learning zone, and I know a lot of you out there are doing that, it would be so useful, Facebook, if we could actually schedule these so that it's actually easier to do. And it would be so nice to be able to then organize everything in order. Okay, so we can't do that. So we're going to just post this. What happens now is, as you can see, it's got its own area. Okay. And if I go back to my group now, so if I click this test group or I put the cross down, I'm back home. And now my guides has got a guide. So if I go to the discussions, which is where all the information goes, and I refresh my page, I now have my test content inside my guide, and my guide has been created here. So what I could do if I wanted to is this previous live that I did here, I could add this to this guide. And to do that, all I would need to do is click the 3 little dots. I told you they did magic things. And it goes here and it says add post to guide. So then I could add the post to the guide. This is the only one that's available at the moment. So I'd click that. I could put a title, live test, and then I could click save. And this would go into the guide. So now it's been added. So let's just wait for it to refresh. And there's the guide here. Now, obviously, sometimes we might not want them in the order that we put them in. We might want to put the first thing you put in, which is like that first piece of information, to show first. So to do that, what one would need to do is we need to click these 3 little dots and we need to reorder our posts. So when we reorder our posts, we can then move these around. So I could do it this way around and I could click save and it will move things around for me. So now if I click refresh, it should put that around. Let's just do that again. I didn't reorder it properly. Yeah, let's put that at the top and save. So now that's at the top. So that's a really good way of utilizing the guides if that's really good. Okay, so before I move on, I'm just going to check any questions. So Tim just said, I'm going to put you up there, Tim. Shout out from across the pond. Hello. Yes, you are over in the US and I'm over in London, in the UK. So here we go. So there's a question about units. Can you create a post and then later add it to a guide? Yes, absolutely, you can. So I've just shown you how to add a post inside the guide automatically. Now what I'll do is I'll show you how to add your post that you've got inside your normal news feed to the guide. So for that, I'm going to go over into my other group. So let me just take that question off and let's jump into the group that I actively use, which is this one. So in here, I already have quite a lot of guides. So as you can see here, I've got my free YouTube audits. I've got a 3-day challenge that I did, and then I've got lots of information on that challenge. So these guides are used quite well. So what I want to do now is I want to add a post that I've already got into a guide. So you do have to create the guide beforehand. So what's quite good is if you go into the guides tab and then create the guides that you want. So maybe guide number 1 is how to do something. Guide number 2 is where you put all the files. Guide number 3 is where you put all the lives, and so on and so on. Once you've created the guides, all you do is you scroll down to the post that you want to add in. Oh, look, there's me live there. Look, how cool is that? So if I go down here, let's keep going. Let's find one that I haven't done. Okay, so my Saturday selfies. If I want to add this, and what it does is if you add this post, it will take all the content with it. So any comments that you get, it will take with it as well. So if I just click these 3 little dots, it is going to let me add this post to a guide. And when I click on it, it's going to ask me which guide I want to add it to. So I don't actually have one for my Saturday post. So let me just pop it into my Facebook problem solving. So if I click that there, it's going to ask me to give it a title. So let me just put my Saturday social, and then I'm going to click save. Now that's automatically gone into that post for me, and it's going to open up the guides, and it's going to show me inside my guide number 1 that I have that post in here. And if I scroll down, there's the other post that was in there as well. And then it moves on to guide number 2, and so on and so on, and then you get guide number 3. So that's how you add a post that you've already done into, which was great. So so hopefully that's answered your question there, Tim. Somebody is in one of my groups. If you could, really great if you could click on this link that I'm going to put into the group now. I think you're probably in my group here. Let me just quickly get it, and then if you click that, I'll see who you are, or if you can just write your name in the comments to let me know whom I'm talking to. That would be great, because you do have to authorize Restream to see your details. So I'm just going to find my live. Okay, there's my live. I'm going to just pop this link in there. If you can click that, then I'll know that you who is that's asking me this question. I do believe this is the only place I've put this, so hopefully that will show up. Okay, so you can see that I've done that. Okay, so let me just close that bit down. Okay, so guide and quiz. Yes, so we're going to move to quiz. What is a guide? Is a guide for my eyes only? No, Michelle, guides are open to the public inside of your Facebook group. So just a quick overview on guides before we move on to how to actually add file, how to do a quiz. If you have a Facebook group, so let me just stop my share for a second. If you have a Facebook group, you either have your Facebook group as a public group or a private group. So a public group is that everybody on Facebook can see the group and can also see all of the content in the group. So they can see the members, they can see all the posts, they can see everything that you put into that group. If, however, your group is a private group, like a closed group, then what happens is that people can see the title of the group and the description of the group, but they can't see what's happening inside the group. So they have to request to join. So if you have these guides in your group, which are like social learning areas, those are open to the people in your group. So if your group is a closed group, then only the people in your group can see the content of your guides. If, however, it's a public group, then everybody in your group can see that. I've got my dog in here and she's seen the fly that keeps flying around, like it's trying to kamikaze me all the time. I think it's because the light's shining on me from my lights and it keeps like diving. So if I'm doing this, it's because there's this fly. It's about that big, and it keeps flying around my room. And the dog's just seen it. So I think she just tried to eat it, but missed. because obviously. Anyway, so guides aren't for your eyes only. They're really, really cool. What I used to do with my guides before I moved my content onto Thinkific, which is where I have my learning programs now. So if you want to learn about Facebook and Instagram, then I do have a program over there that's $697, and you'll be able to learn everything that you need about Facebook and Instagram marketing. Anyway, that's where I have mine. But when I first started selling that course, I did it inside a Facebook group. So all of the units that I had, all the modules, I used to use my Facebook group, and I used to organize the content into posts. And it's a really good way of you testing out whether what you're selling is sought after. It's a bit like, you know, you can do a small test pilot group. And then if you know that you've got lots of audience for it, you could then think about moving it out of Facebook. Now, the only reason I say move it out of Facebook is because Facebook is a social media platform. It's not you don't own Facebook. So if you put all of your content in Facebook and Facebook decides to not work one day, you can't access that content. And because Facebook is free to use, they really pretty much you don't really have a leg to stand on when you can't access it, because you're not paying Facebook for the privilege to use their tool. It's free. So whereas if I'm using Thinkific, I've paid them to host my content, and therefore if Thinkific goes down, then I can complain to them that my students can't access the course because I'm paying them for a service. So it's always good to think about moving content if you are charging people for it, or you are offering content out to people, off of Facebook eventually, because Facebook is actually a social media platform. Anyway, that's probably for another live. So what we've done so far is we've gone over what a Facebook guide is, who it's visible to, how to create a guide, how to add content to the guide, and how to rearrange the guides. You can remove the content from the guide. So if you want to I'll just quickly show you how to remove that before I go into the quizzes. So if you don't want something to be in the guide, all you need to do is you go to the guides, you go to that particular post. So let's go back to this post here, and you just click the three little dots, and then you can oh, look, it doesn't tell me to. Oh, I know. You have to do it outside. So you go outside, back to home. Then you go to the post in question. So that was my Saturday selfie one, this one. Click on the three little dots. And, oh, it still doesn't tell me I can remove it. Okay, you can remove it. So for definite. Oh, look, that's not the one because it's not in the guide now. Let me just refresh that. That's a different one I'm talking about, isn't it? Let me find the one that's in the guide. Let me just find it. Let me find it. Oh, this is the wrong group. Sorry, let's go over here. Yeah. So if I were to just come in here, and then I can remove it if I want to, I can just remove post. So if I remove the post here, it will remove it. If you remove this post from your guide, it will still be visible in your group's discussion section. If you don't want it in your discussion section, you can remove it from your group. So I just want to remove it from my guide. So it's just taking it out of the guide, but it's still in the group. So that might be something that if you've added something into your guide by mistake, then you can do that. Okay, so let's quickly move on to the next bit, which is how to create a quiz inside of your Facebook group. So this is really, really cool if you are doing a learning type of thing and you want to quiz people before they go on to the next step of your course or your little thing that you're doing. So to create a quiz, you go to the guides and then you click Create Guide. Oh, no, that's not it, because that's not going to work now, isn't it? Let me just see. Guides. Where's my quiz gone? Actually, it's in this one. Let me go back to this one. Oh, I'm really hot now. Okay, I'm going to click this, and I'm going to click More. And I am going to, where's my guide? Where's my quiz gone? Hang on, let me just go back to guides. And I'm going to go into my guide. Okay, let's go back so that you guys follow me exactly how we do this. Okay, so we are inside of our Facebook group. We go to our guides tab, and then we have to go to the beginning of the guide. We want the quiz in. So here's the guide, and then we're going to create a quiz. So click create quiz, and then we're going to give our quiz a title. So test quiz. Passing score is optional. So if you want to put a passing score, you can, otherwise leave it blank. If you wanted to, you could say 50%. And here you can up it to 60, 70. So you can make it go up or down. So let's just say, so if you want to do that, you can. Question 1 is, let's just see, can you add a post to a guide? There you go. Answer is yes, no, only inside of the guides. Okay, so then what you do, if you want to make what you want to do is you want to tell the computer, obviously Facebook's guides, what question is the correct answer. So can you add a post to a guide? So I'm going to say yes. So that's the correct answer. And then you can have an explanation if you want to. Otherwise, we're just going to add another question. So then I'm going to do another question. Can you, create quizzes, can't spell, inside of your Facebook group? Again, I'm going to just do yes, no, and then I'm going to put maybe. Okay, and then I'm going to add another question just for a bit of fun. What's your favorite ice cream? And then you can have some fun with this one. So mint, chocolate chip, strawberry. Let's add another one. Vanilla. Let's add another one. Chocolate. And then let's do cookies and cream, because everyone likes cookies and cream, although I think it's a little bit sickly, cookies and cream. So what's your favorite ice cream? It's not really like, it can be anything really, can't it? So I'm going to say this one is correct. And let's see if we can have, we can have 2 different correct answers in that one. So that's quite cool. And then we're going to do done. And that's going to pretty much create your quiz. So let's just let it do its business. I'm clicking. Hopefully it's going to work. Oh, I've got an error. Can you at least one? Oh, sorry, I didn't do it correct. Can you create a quiz? Yes. Okay. So you have to make sure that you give the correct answers, and then let's click done. So now it's doing its business. Yay! And there we have take quiz. Okay. So let me just see if we've got any questions about that. No. Perfect. So do let me know if you have any other questions, because we're nearly at the end of today's live. So let's have a little look at the quiz before the fly gets me again. So take quiz. Can you add a post to a guide? Yes. Next. Can you create quizzes inside of your Facebook group? Maybe. Next. What's your favorite ice cream? Mint chocolate chip and vanilla. Submit. So see answers. So they got 1 incorrect because they said that they thought you might be able to. So although that's sort of correct, that isn't the correct answer that I set, but the other 2 they got right. So that's a really cool way of using your group as a way of running a little quiz. And it could be like a fun quiz as well if you wanted to. Okay, so let me see if I have any other questions from my list of things to do. So we did the announcements. We did adding your posts to your guide. And that is now you can add posts to your guides only on the desktop, I believe. Let me just double check that so that I'm not talking a load of rubbish. Let me just see. Yes, so as far as I know, you can only add posts to guides on the desktop. So if you are trying to do this on your mobile phone, and I know a lot of you do use your mobile phones a lot for managing your Facebook, but if you are trying to do your guides on your mobile phone, it's not going to work. So just bear that in mind when you go to do things on your inside of your group. You can't hide and remove posts from your feed. So if you're going to put them in the guide, they are going to show up in your feed. But one good thing about this, the way this works, is that if, for instance, I did that challenge in January inside of my Facebook and Instagram and video marketing group, if people are new and they want to do the challenge again on their own, I could say to them, oh, by the way, I did a 3-day mini challenge, which is sort of a bit of a training challenge, and it's in guide number 2. You can work through that, and by all means, feel free to share the results of the challenge with me in the group. You know, you could do that sort of thing, which is quite good. And then how to add a file to your group, or I haven't done that one, and how to create a quiz. Okay, so we've done all of those. Create few lives for your guide. Yeah, you can create lives for your guides. You can do anything you like on it. So let me just quickly, I wanted to answer these questions because these were the questions that I was asked inside of my YouTube channel about using guides. So if you're new to my live today and you're watching this over on YouTube, do hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss the next time I go live, which will be Wednesday afternoon, 5 p.m. British Standard Time. I do a weekly video marketing live on a Wednesday. And then on Fridays, I usually upload an Instagram video, which is usually to do with either strategy or an update that's happened. And there's been quite a few updates in Instagram over the last week or so. So Friday's video is going to be quite juicy on the update front of things. So how do you add a file to your Facebook group? So first of all, why would you want to add a file to your Facebook group? So files are really cool. They're a really cool way of you uploading information for people to use, but they're also really good because you can allow your group members the ability to edit your file. So say like if you wanted to do a directory, so say like your group is all around networking, or you want to have a directory of your members. So I could create a file in my video marketing group, this one, Instagram and Facebook for video marketing. And I could ask everybody if they wanted to add their details in there so that we had some sort of like free directory. So to do that, what you need to do is you need to go here where it says what's on your mind. And here you have those 3 dots again. And you can either add a file. So if you add a file, it means that you're going to upload a file from your computer. So I can click add a file. And I have to choose the file from my computer, and files can be up to 100 megabytes in size. So if I go and grab a file, like I've got this Instagram checklist, which helps you to, this goes as part of my free first module of my course. So if anyone wants to learn how to use Instagram for success and set your Instagram account up properly, then, you know, let me know in the comments below this video and I will give you a link so that you can try out my course for free and you'll get this checklist with it. So this checklist is here, and that's a file that I've uploaded. So I can then write something about this. So this is like Instagram checklist. And then I can schedule this. Now, when you create a file, you get a file tab. If you don't have a file uploaded to your computer, you won't see the file tab. So the file tab is visible here where it says more. So when you click the more button, very down the bottom here, you get files. So here I've got all my files that I've got inside my group, and these are all downloadable for my members to download. So sometimes you need to remind people that you've got all of this content inside your group so that they can actually go ahead and use it. Now, if you wanted to create your own directory of sorts, or you wanted to create some sort of form or file inside your group, then you could create your own by clicking on Create Document. And here you would be able to add in anything. And the thing that you need to make sure you do is here at the bottom left, it says allow group members to edit this document. So if you actually have that ticked, let me just make that big so you guys can all see it. If you actually have that big, that tick there, then you'll be able to allow other people to actually edit things. So they'll actually be able to add to that as well. So that's pretty much everything that I'm going to go through today. And if you don't see that file, then all you need to do is, again, go back to your discussions, click on what's on your mind, go to the 3 dots, and it says create document. That will do exactly the same. It will get that pop up. It will bring that up. You can add your title, test document, not spell again. You can write your blurb. And you've got all these different features. And then if I publish it, it's going to go into my group, and anyone who's in my group can then add their own content to it. So now it's here. And this is a collaborative document in Instagram, Facebook, and video marketing made easy. So let's go back to my group and go down to the document. Let's find the document. There's the document. If someone clicks that see more, it's going to open up, and they're going to actually be able to edit it, and they're going to be able to then add on more things. I'm adding to this, etc. And then they have to publish update, and it gets published. Okay, so I've worked through quite a lot of stuff today, and it's been absolutely awesome. And I'm just going to say thank you so much. So there's lots of different things that you can do inside your Facebook group. And I know that some of these issues that I've mentioned today have been driving some of you absolutely nuts. So I'm hoping that this is going to help you. This fly is back again. I'm going to have to like zap it. So thank you all for those of you who have hung about with me the entire time through this. So thank you for joining me. And if you have any questions about anything that I've gone through in this video today, then drop them underneath this video. And if you're watching on YouTube, after this video is finished, I will put the chapters in so you'll be able to jump to each section of the video without any problems. And then you won't have to watch the whole thing through. You can just jump to the option that you wanted to find out about. Have a great day. I will see you Wednesday, 5 p.m. for my weekly Wednesday live. Okay, take care, and thank you all for joining me. Bye for now.